Hey, Hotshots, Jess with Emotional Fire Academy, here today to talk about advanced manifesting techniques for highly sensitive people. Subscribe to my channel if you are a highly sensitive person looking to be successful and up level in life. That's exactly what we do here at Emotional Fire Academy. I present weekly tips, tricks, and tools to do just that. Who am I? I am Jess. I'm your driver operator on this journey. I am so excited you're here. I'm also a veteran firefighter and master NLP practitioner. So welcome. Have a little change of scenery today in honor of the holidays. But we're not going to let it throw us off our game. We're going to talk about a very exciting topic today. So for those of you who are actively practicing manifestation, I think this is really going to take you to the next level. And why are highly sensitive people so good at manifesting? So I actually think it's for two reasons. The first is because of our emotional vividness gene. So feeling something as real, stepping into the reality of it from a feeling place is a big part of the manifestational process. And because highly sensitive people have this gene that creates a greater sense of emotional vividness, then we can really get into the feeling state of things. Super, more so than people who don't have this gene activated. The other thing that makes us really good manifestors naturally is the fact that we get about 2 to 3% more data coming into our perceptual awareness. And from that extra 2 to 3% of data, we can then have 2 to 3% more opportunities to interpret things as going our way. And that, again, is part of manifestation. And to be able to interpret the outside evidence, what's happening outside of you in the 3D, as being in harmony with whatever you're trying to create. Because the data itself is neutral. I have talked about this before. And so when we get more data as highly sensitive people, it gives us more opportunities to do that. And again, then continue to align with our goals or whatever we're trying to create. So those are the two things that I really think make highly sensitive people excellent manifestors. And I don't want you to be scared off by the word manifestation. There are a lot of channels that talk about manifestation, and mine, I like to keep things in very neutral language. But manifestation, like, what is even the word? It comes from manifesto. Like, what is your, when you write a manifesto, you're deciding on what you're going to create. You're deciding on how you're going to live your life. Your manifesto, your kind of declaration of how things are going to be. Also, manifestation really is reprogramming yourself to live the reality that you want to live. That's all it is. It's literally reprogramming your mind to be successful in whichever goals you decide to pursue, and to actually have them accomplished, that to see them come to fruition in the real world. That is a big part of it, is actually having that piece in the 3D where it comes to fruition and you're like, yes, I did this, and that satisfaction that comes from that. And yeah, so we're going to talk about kind of my views on manifestation today and how to really get into it and to be better at it and to understand it from a totally different point of view using language. So we're gonna use a different language today about it, and I'm gonna kind of show you and pull the curtain back on what's happening when you're reprogramming yourself, when you're learning how to master your emotions, when you're actually trying to manifest something, like being a millionaire or getting a new car or whatever. This is all about reprogramming your own mind, which is what we do here on this channel. So the good news is, if you've been watching this channel, you're already several steps into the process, because I've been teaching you how to do these things, how to take control of your emotions. And so I want to refer you to the 4 stages of competence. Now, this is very popular in the learning and education field. And the 4 stages of competence are the 4 psychological states that we pass through when we are learning a new skill, learning anything, a new language, learning how to master our emotions, learning how to manifest. It's all essentially the same thing. And here's a pyramid, here's a triangle. You know how much I love triangles on this channel. And I have a chalkboard today instead of my usual my other chalkboard. I guess I have 2 chalkboards, really. This one's a little smaller. But so when we're talking about the 4 stages of competence, we're talking about, starting at the bottom and transitioning up to mastery. So we start at ignorance and we go up to mastery. And forgive these terms, this is the common lingo in the education field and the psychology for what they call these. I think some of the language is a little bit different, but that's okay. We're just going to roll with it and use that language, and I will reframe it as we go. So when we start, I'm going to set this down and read some things to you. We start at the bottom. We always start when we're learning something new. We start with ignorance, right? We don't know what we don't know. We don't know what we don't know when we're learning something new. And okay, let me read you the actual description of what ignorance feels like. And this is also called unconscious competence or unconscious incompetence. So the individual does not understand or know how to do something and does not recognize the deficit. So we don't know what we don't know. They may deny the usefulness of the skill. The length of time the individual spends in this stage depends on the strength of the stimulus to learn. So when you're really motivated to learn something, you're going to move out of unconscious incompetence very quickly. You're going to recognize that there's something you need to learn and you're going to start going for it. And so how does this look like when you're starting to reprogram your mind and really take control of your reality? So I experienced this as signs of inflexible thinking or things that I thought were really absolute. And never questioning it, just assuming that it was reality, just blindly assuming. And some of the thoughts that I would think when I was in this stage, thinking that there was a big world out there acting on me, right? That I was this tiny little part in this giant world, that the world outside of me was reality with a capital R, reality. That was the truth. What was outside there that I was seeing in my 3D was the truth of the capital T, right? I didn't question that. I'm like, what my senses are giving me, that information is absolute God's honest truth. If you're in that space, that's okay. But I bet you if you've been watching this channel, you've already moved beyond that, right? You're realizing that there are ways to learn, ways to master your emotions, ways to create your reality in a different fashion than what you have been thinking. So good job. You've already moved beyond the bottom tier of the pyramid. And, but you might see this in other people, this absolute truth, this adherence and loyalty to an absolute truth of the situation. Again, it doesn't allow us to even perceive alternatives, right? We say, this is a wall. There's a wall there. This is a wall. It's a solid wall. There's nothing there. And we can't see that there is actually a window. We just literally cannot see it. We cannot perceive it through our senses. We cannot see it because we don't believe. We're like, this is the truth of the situation, which feels very solid. It's like a wall. It's like there's nothing there. There's no alternative there. This is the truth. This is how it is. There's no arguing with it. This is just how it is. That's kind of what it feels like to be in that stage when you are just not aware that there is another way to be, that you can reprogram your mind, that you can learn how to manifest, that you can take control of your reality, right? It's not perceptible to you in that phase. And that feels very powerless. It feels very powerless. You feel very tossed about by life. You feel at the mercy of either your emotions, your emotional reactions, what you think is happening to you. You just and all of your decisions and actions are a result of that. And so there's very little control. There's a sense of powerlessness that comes from that. And you feel like you're very out of control and things are happening to you and you have no say in them. And it's very disempowering. It's a very uncomfortable place to be. And really when we talk about, crossing the threshold of making a conscious decision to live life how you want to live it, this is kind of what we're going out of. We're leaving that stage and saying, and looking at others who are successful and happy and getting their way and saying, okay, there's something beyond that I just am unaware of and I want to start moving towards that. And that's when we move out of ignorance and into awareness, which is the next stage. And again, if you've been watching this channel, you've already at least in the awareness stage, if not higher. So as we move up, we just feel crummy down here, because if we're not consciously creating our reality, something we perceive to be outside of us is creating it for us. I'm going to say that again. If we don't consciously, intentionally create the reality that we want to live in, something else outside of us is creating it for us. Either our circumstances, our emotions, our emotional reactions, the people and events and environments that we perceive to be outside of us, that we feel at the mercy of, that we then believe are dictating our destiny. So when we decide and realize, okay, I'm not going to let that happen anymore, we move into awareness. We move into the awareness where we're like, I'm going to learn how to do this and take control of my life. So awareness is the next level. Awareness is conscious incompetence. Conscious incompetence is that's what they call it, the awareness level. And the individual does not understand or know how to do something. He or she does recognize the deficit as well as the value of the new skill in addressing the deficit. Making mistakes is integral to the learning process at this stage. So that's the definition of that stage, what it looks like. Again, conscious incompetence. So the information that you've transitioned from unconscious incompetence to conscious incompetence. Now you know what you don't know. You're aware of it. You recognize you don't know something, and you start to seek it out to learn it. You start to seek out information to learn it. So it's passed from the subconscious into the conscious, and now you're starting to play around with it and look for information and build something. So when I experienced this level, for me, it felt like wanting to believe that manifestation was real, really wanting, and seeing other people being successful at life, and seeing them succeed, and seeing them be happy, but feeling very unhappy and unfulfilled and not whole. I did not feel whole at that stage. I felt incomplete. I felt needing things from people. I needed them to love me. I needed them to give, I needed their presence to know that I was okay, that I was popular, that I had friends, like that seeking outside of myself and comparing myself to others and saying like, they have it, why don't I? And beating myself up over it. That's kind of when I was in that stage, that was where I was as a highly sensitive people, trying really, 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 really hard. I once applied to a job 9 times. I applied to this company 9 times because I'm like, I'm gonna make this, I'm gonna manifest this, I'm gonna make this work. But I didn't realize that manifestation is an inside game, right? I talk about manifesting, learning how to manifest successfully is an inside game. It's a completely inside game. That's going to make more sense as I talk about this. But reprogramming yourself is an inside game, right? It's all in here. You're not going out in the world and trying to reprogram everyone else. You are just reprogramming you and your thoughts, your ideas, your beliefs, your feelings. All of this is an inside game. And because I wasn't changing that, I was out there in the world trying to manifest, doing the best that I could, and learning a lot of mistakes, learning from many of my mistakes and starting to sift and sort and be like, oh, okay, something is off here. Something is not working correctly. I need to gain more information. I need to keep learning. There's a recognition of like continuing to learn, making the mistakes. There's a sifting and sorting. Feeling frustrated, seeing other people getting results and not understanding. And that's really when I tripped across NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, which is a lot of the theories and concepts that I teach you on this channel. NLP is essentially manifesting, right? Because what do successful, really masterful manifestors create their own success, right? And in NLP is about learning strategies in order to create your own success. So they're both kind of the same thing. And when I started studying NLP, it really clicked into place. I'm like, oh my God, this is manifesting 101 in different language. It's different language. It made a lot of sense to me. I was just like, wow, I get it. I totally get it. And so going through the back door then of knowing that I wanted to learn how to manifest, how to create my reality, how to be happy every day and feel happy and fulfilled. And that's where it all clicked for me, was studying NLP, because those were the strategies of successful people. That's what NLP is. It's learning from the strategies of successful people, emulating them, and then having your own success. And that is essentially manifesting too, in a nutshell, is doing the same thing to literally create your reality and have it come about in the three dimension, and have it come about in your life, and starting it here and then watching it come about out there. So that's the awareness level, when you're doing a lot of trial and error in awareness. You're seeing other people succeed and you're like, oh, I know I can get this, feeling frustrated. But if you don't have that realization that this is an internal game, when you're reprogramming, when you're manifesting, this is an internal game. It's all in here. You should all be doing the work in here and changing the thoughts and the beliefs. You're moving into the learning, and that's kind of, as you move up and you're moving into the third stage, you move into the learning stage, where you're really committed to learning this. You're like, I'm going to get good at this. This is what in the 4 stages is called conscious competence. So, right, we moved in the last one from the base level was unconscious incompetence. We moved up to conscious incompetence, right? We're aware. And then the learning is conscious competence. So this is where then we start to take control of the learning. We're learning. It's an active process, right? The individual understands or knows how to do something. However, demonstrating the skill requires concentration. The learning may be broken down into steps, and there is heavy conscious involvement in executing the new skill. Learning is the effort stage. Learning. That's why I wrote effort. There's so much effort in this stage. This is where you're like, oh my gosh, this is the slog. It's gonna feel hard, right? You're making new habits. You're thinking new thoughts. You're changing your beliefs. This is the habit change phase. This is the learning phase. There's a lot of conscious energy. Okay? And I want you to know, if you've been working on manifesting something and it still feels heavy and hard and you're working on it, it's okay. You're almost at the top. You're almost at the top of the pyramid. I want you to know, this is the effort. A lot of effort. It takes a lot of effort to break through then into mastery. And that's okay. That is okay. That's how it is. And for a lot of people, that's just, it feels effortful. Others, will naturally move into mastery. It's okay. Trust the process, trust the learning. And this is where, when you're doing manifesting, you're doing your affirmations, your visualizations, you're thinking, you're on your mental diet, you're thinking different thoughts. This is the actual meat and potatoes of reprogramming yourself. This is the effort phase. So I urge you to keep going. If you're trying to manifest something, bring it into your reality, become someone new, cross that threshold from feeling like, an imposter to the real deal. This is the effort phase. It's okay. Keep going. You are in the effort phase. There's something above it, and that's mastery. And it's about repetition. The learning phase is about repetition, 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 right? Because this is the conscious competence. Consciousness takes energy. The last phase, when we move into mastery at the top of the pyramid, this is where the learning breaks through into your subconscious mind. Because that's where we're trying to get it. We're trying to get it back down into your unconscious, your subconscious, where it feels automatic again, right? It's simple, it's automatic. And that's when you've actually become who you're trying to become. You've become it, because now it's programmed so deep inside of you that it's natural, it's second nature. And then it literally, the 3D reflects it, right? This is the last phase. So manifestation, like I said, is literally just learning. It's the learning, the 4 stages of learning. What is unconscious competence? The mastery phase. The individual has had so much practice with the skill it has become second nature and is performed easily. As a result, they can teach it to others, and it can be the skill or state can be performed while executing another task. So you've pushed it back down into your subconscious, your unconscious, your body knowledge, so that you've entirely become all of that, right? You've successfully reprogrammed yourself to be whatever, an emotional master, a millionaire, whatever you want to be, whatever you're trying to manifest. And some signs that you've successfully done this. What are some signs? How do you know that it's back into your subconscious bank, your bank of subconscious programs? Your dreams will align. You're going to start to have dreams where whatever you're dreaming of shows you that you've planted that knowledge, that learning into your subconscious mind. So this is kind of like when you learn a language. When you're learning a language, you're practicing, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of effort, it's a lot of thinking, and then you suddenly start having dreams in that language where you're speaking in that language fluently. I experienced this with Spanish. I started having dreams in high school about my senior year, so I had been studying it for 4 years, where I started dreaming in Spanish, where I was actually I had crossed the threshold of fluency where my subconscious mind is like, oh yeah, we can speak the Spanish. We know Spanish. Blah, 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 in my dream. And there was no effort. It was effortless, right? There's then that threshold, the effort is gone. It's been integrated. You have become it. I literally became a Spanish speaker. You cross that threshold. So your dreams will align. That's the first one. A sense that it's done. Like I said, you just have this sensation of, oh, it's finished. Like I did it. I did it. It's into my subconscious now. It's into my unconscious knowledge. I am that. I am a Spanish speaker. I am a millionaire. I am. You have a real sense that something is done, and you don't look outward for validation that it is done, right? You don't feel the need because it's so integrated in who you are that you just know that it's done. And then the last thing that you'll notice when you've reached the mastery level is that your language and thoughts spontaneously reflect your transition. So you'll catch yourself thinking and feeling as that person because you are that person now. You've crossed the threshold into mastery. You are a master in whatever you're trying to manifest and whatever programming you are trying to instill. That program is now running. It's running naturally without effort. And you're there. That's it. That's all you had to do. So no matter what you are trying to manifest, no matter what you're trying to reprogram, these are the stages you're going to go through. And when you get to the top, when your dreams align, your thoughts, your feelings and beliefs spontaneously reflect that transition, you're done. You're done. That's it. You did it. Good job. You are whatever you were trying to become. You have literally become it in mind, body, and spirit. So, what did you think of this video? Drop a comment below if this made sense to you. I know this was a long one today. Thanks for sticking with me. It's our Christmas special. So, did this make sense to you? Let me know what stage you're on, and if you are someone who wants to start intentionally creating your reality as a highly sensitive person, if you're ready to succeed and thrive and rock life so hard, come work with me. I would love to work with you. I have an excellent 3-month flammable to fireproof program that helps highly sensitive people go through these stages and develop some incredible habits and become the people that they want to be in a mere 3 months. I mean, how fast is that? That's a blink of an eye. So check that out on my website, emotionalfireacademy.com. Have a wonderful holiday season. Thanks for watching. Bye.